Good day, Amherstburg. It's myself, Laura D'Alessandro.
And it's Ron Giofu from the Rivertown Times here in Amherstburg, back here on the airwaves of CKBG 107.9 The Berg for the RTT's Week in Review.
Well, it's a great day, like you said, to be a duck. I don't know, Mother Nature has turned on the faucet, and we're all getting a little bit wet this morning.
Yeah, it probably wasn't a good day to wear my spring jacket. I kind of regretted that when I walked out to the house this morning, so...
You christened it.
Yeah, I may have to go back and put the winter coat back on at some point today because it's a little bit chilly.
And it doesn't show any signs of stopping. The rain is supposed to last all day and maybe even to the night and into tomorrow. So I'm praying for all those who may have leaky basements and deal with flooding. I've been there. I feel your pain, and I hope we can all survive this downpour of rain that's going to last these next few hours.
Absolutely. I believe there's a flood watch in effect, so keep your eyes on your basements, keep your eyes on local waterways, and hopefully it doesn't get too serious out there and we just get a little bit wet when we walk outside.
Yeah, thankfully it's not snow. This would be a lot of snow, so we'll be thankful for that. Turning our attention to the paper, the Sunshine List for 2024 public sector workers has been released. The list includes several names of public workers from here in Amherstburg and the county administration.
Absolutely. I believe there's 34 people from Amherstburg on the Sunshine List from the town of Amherstburg, and we've got that in part of an extremely lengthy story in this week's RTT.
So we're, 3 pages?
About that, yeah. I think, 3 pages, yeah. Started on 1, I believe it's on 2, then finishes on 9. And there's a whole lot of stuff about the town of Amherstburg workers, the county of Essex, and some local principals. And I had to cut it off somewhere, so I just don't mean to pick on the principals, but I didn't go any deeper into the schools and that. And then, of course, we got, and towards the end of the article, I believe I included a list of comparator municipalities. So you can see where kind of Amherstburg lists amongst its peer groups here in Essex County. And so, again, a lengthy story and lengthy list. Again, it's the Public Sector Salaries Disclosure Act of 1996. Some have argued it should be raised from the $100,000 threshold for public sector employees, but here we go. It's still at $100,000. That's why the article is so lengthy. So make sure you check it out on starting on page 1 of this week's RTT. Again, it's quite the list, and tried to stay on top of it as best we could. Another
list that's in the paper is the town has made public the remuneration list of 2024.
Yeah, speaking of money and speaking of how much people made, it's town council's list of how they were remunerated in 2024, and by that I mean that's their salaries, that's any expenses, like if they got paid a communication allowance, a per diem, if they got reimbursed for conferences and travel and that sort of thing. It's all combined into one tidy little total, and also if they served on outside boards and that kind of stuff that they were paid for, and sometimes our 2 IRCA reps got also additional compensation that was paid for by IRCA. Same thing if for folks on the Essex Power Board, Essex Power Lines paid for that. And there's also stuff about town committees on there, and sometimes it's just an honorarium. It's a couple $100 a year, but it's taxpayer money, and we want to include that. And that is in this week's issue of the Rivertown Times. So a couple of really lengthy stories on remuneration, salaries, and that sort of thing. It's that time of year. All of that is in this week's RTT. It's taken up a lot of space. We've had to bump some stuff. I know letters to the editor were put on the shelf for a week or 2. If you submitted a letter and you don't see it in the paper, don't worry. It was nothing personal. We just had a lot of lengthy stories, and these 2 being among them. So check it out, our Sunshine List story and our town remuneration story in this week's issue of the Rivertown Times.
The Town of Amherstburg Building Department has reported $162 million in construction value for 2024.
Yeah, that was a good year for them. It was lots of new residential builds, commercial builds, even a couple of industrial projects counted amongst that. There's a picture of an ADU in this week's issue of the RTT. That's just one of the projects. That big number, it combines just about everything from major construction projects, like commercial buildings and houses, right down to sheds and pool enclosures. So check that out on page 3 of this week's RTT, and I guess learn a little bit more about it and the building activity that took place in 2024.
Speaking of buildings, the Western High School, more specifically the property and sale of the school, have been making headlines in the past week. Reports the school had been sold were later kind of called back a little bit.
It doesn't sound like they're quite there yet. I mean, it sounds like the process is underway. More information on page 4 of this week's RTT about who a potential buyer could be. But again, it doesn't sound like it's quite finished yet, based on from what I can gather. But the process is underway, and we'll keep an eye on that for sure. And when any deal closes, when any updates are available, or whatever information comes out in the future, we'll be sure to stay on top of it. But sounds like there is work at least underway about the possible sale of the former Western Secondary School.
Last Friday, the Windsor-Essex Chamber of Commerce, in sponsorship with the Libero Bank, hosted the Mayor's Luncheon at the Chicharo Club. And I know you had slipped out there on Friday afternoon to take in all that was going on out there. Yeah,
Warden Hilda McDonald gave, it was basically a state of the county address, and a lot of it was to do with the tariffs and, as she called it, the trade chaos that is underway. And she's calling for people to band together and support each other, support local business, and simply work together. She mentioned about possibly the county looking at acquiring some industrial land and try to diversify that way. And where that industrial land may be has not been identified, at least not publicly. And Warden McDonald, who is also the mayor of the municipality of Leamington, went over a lot of different topics. It was a wide-ranging speech. It's all on page 5 of this week's RTT. Talked about the agriculture industry, tourism, that sorts of thing. And yeah, we have, she mentioned 7 unique municipalities here in the county of Essex, obviously Amherstburg being one of them. Again, there was about a packed hall, a couple of salons at the Chicharo Club. I'm guessing over 500 people, I guess, would have to have been there. Wow. I'm guessing.
That's great.
It was a large crowd, let's put it that way. And again, it's full details on page 5 of this week's RTT. More details on the web, www.rivertowntimes.com. Again, a wide-ranging interview, and I know Warden McDonald and the rest of County Council will be busy tonight. There's a County Council meeting in Essex. I know the Rivertown Times will be represented at that meeting. And the policing issue is one of the topics they're going to be discussing tonight. A couple of notices of motion put forward by Mayor Michael Prue will be discussed a little bit further in depth. We'll see how far they go with it. I wouldn't think they're going to be making a ton of decisions tonight, but I'm sure they're going to have some discussion on it, and I'm sure that'll be interesting. And we'll stay on top of that, and that's just some of the stuff happening at the county level.
MPP Anthony Liardi awarded 5 deserving individuals in the community with the King Charles III Coronation Medal.
Vincent Georgie, Paul Mastronardi, Bill Shea, Jack Housen, and John Fox were honored last Saturday afternoon in Harrow at the Shine Club right on the main street there in Harrow. Again, 5 well-deserving recipients. Congratulations to all 5. Again, that's Vincent Georgie, Paul Mastronardi, Bill Shea, Jack Housen, and John Fox. That was last Saturday afternoon in Harrow. Presented by Essex MPP Anthony Liardi. We have more details on page 10 of this week's RTT. They have all 5 gentlemen have very exemplary resumes, and they're well-deserving of this honor, so congratulations. Well-deserved, and thank you for the service to our community. It's everything from law enforcement, farming, agriculture, arts, and just various different lines of work represented there. So again, congratulations to all 5, and for your getting your awards from Anthony Liardi.
And you're included in that company. You got yours from Chris Lewis. We were asking you in the office the other day, do you want a title now for this award? Is it Your Highness, Your Majesty, Your Excellency, Knight? What would you prefer? Letters added to the back of your name? Could think of a couple.
Yeah, we can't say those letters on the air, but I'm happy with just calling me Ron. And
if you could allow me to stop curtsying every time you come in, I would greatly appreciate it, but I don't see that coming to an end.
I just thought you had some sort of weird twitch going on. I just left it alone.
We all rise when Ron gets up from his chair. MP candidates Lori Whiteman, Chris Sutton, and Chris Lewis have been busy hitting the campaign trail. Stories on all 3 candidates can be found in this week's issue. And just a reminder, we're headed to the polls on April 28th.
Absolutely. I know Fred Groves was busy out, our freelance reporter. He covered a lot of the candidates, and he's working on some other stories for us. So we thank him for that. More details in this week's issue of the RTT. Pages 6 and 7 have information on the Liberal candidate, Chris Sutton, our Conservative incumbent, Chris Lewis, and the NDP candidate, Lori Whiteman. And so, again, more details in this week's RTT and on the web.
Turning our attention to sports, it's also highlighted as one of our front page stories. The Skate Amherstburg held their 52nd annual ice show. This year's theme was Hitting the Streets with Rivertown Beats.
Yeah, it's just, as usual, it's just a great display of the skills of the skaters with Skate Amherstburg. Again, congratulations to all the coaches, all the skaters, and all the parents, and all the guardians, and everyone involved with the show. It was 2 hours of great skating out at the Libro Center Sunday afternoon. We got full albums on our social media sites. On a side note, I just admire some of the talents of these skaters. Even the little ones that need to have their hands held when they're just skating out there. They're just learning how to skate. And they're still doing a better job on ice than I do. It's usually if I stay upright on ice, when I'm walking on ice, I consider that a triumph. Never mind me on skates. So just to see the talents and the abilities of these skaters, both children and adults, remarkable to see, and great job by all those with Skate Amherstburg.
I think come September we sign you up for the Learn to Skate program through CanSkate.
Yeah, just put me in a full bodysuit and
a leotard or
no, one of those full padded bodysuits.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
You don't want to see me in the other. Just lots and lots of padding and helmets and gloves and knee pads, and
I'll be like your mom cheering you on. You can do it, Ronnie. You can do it.
Yeah, bring your cowbell with you.
Yeah, exactly. I can see great things coming. Not much in the way of hockey as the seasons are winding down for most teams. The Amherstburg Stars U21 headed off to Kingston to face off in the OMHA U21 Championship Tournament. And as our freelancer reported, this will be the last time that the Amherstburg Stars will be represented in this event, as the 25-26 season will bring an amalgamation of the Amherstburg and Erie North Shore, which is the Kingsville and Harrow team. So, kind of a monumental last for the Amherstburg Stars, and, we'll miss these kind of things.
Absolutely. The U21s were not able to bring home the Red Hats, but they still represented the town well. They still represented AMHA very well, and they still got a banner. They still advanced to the U21, so which is a very good accomplishment in and of itself. They won the Blue Water League title. So that's another banner that I'm sure will be going up at the Libro Center. So great job for all of the AMHA teams this year, the U21s. Again, great job getting to the OMHA, so congratulations there, and we look forward to another season next year.
Keeping in the mode of AMHA, my son Luca and his select U15 hockey team, sponsored by the Rivertown Times, they're heading off to a tournament this weekend, thankfully, close to home. We're not going back to Buffalo. It's in Bell River. So they're scheduled to play 5 games over 2 days, and we'll see what happens if we make it to the playoffs on Sunday. But wishing all those boys well as they represent Amherstburg on the ice, and this will be the last time that they play together as a team. So it's been a long season, but it was a lot of fun, and wishing them well. They've represented Amherstburg and the Rivertown Times very well. So good luck, boys, and I'll report back next week.
Absolutely. Good luck, guys, and play hard.
Here we go. North Star Sports, not a whole lot going on, but they're picking up the spring season, and soccer was supposed to start today, but in lieu of what's happening outside, I'm not sure they're going to get a game off today. Yeah,
I'm not sure. Sometimes a lot of times they do play in the rain. If there's lightning, that's a different story. They're scheduled to play at 4 o'clock today. The boys are at home, and I will take a quick run out there just to see if there's anyone on the field.
You're going to run out on the soccer field in the rain.
Well, okay. I might power walk out there, grab a few pictures as they're playing, and head off. Unfortunately, I can't stay the whole game, even if we're sunny. I do have another meeting tonight, so good luck to the Wolves again. Yeah, like Laura said, spring season is ramping back up after a bit of a lull in the high school sports season. And so soccer is getting underway this week, and in upcoming weeks, well, I'm sure we'll have a girls' slow pitch, boys' baseball, track and field, I'm sure starting up very soon. And we'll try to stay on top of that as best we can in the pages and the website of the Rivertown Times.
The South County Predator Girls Hockey is hosting a fun day at the Libro Center on Saturday.
Yeah, the Girls Hockey Association does a great job, and should be a very special day. I know they've got some very special events planned as part of the day. We'll be there. We'll be on top of it, and
it's kind of similar to the Day of Champions for OMH or for Amherstburg Minor Hockey.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it's just kind of wrapping up the season and having some fun for the girls in the various age groups, and we'll be out there. We'll be staying on top of it. Something to look forward to this weekend coming up in the Burg.
Last weekend was the Rotary Cornhole Tournament. I know you don't have any numbers on how much they raised for Easter Seals yet, do you?
I have not heard a final total yet. They had about 15 teams, but I have not heard a dollar amount yet.
It was a lot of fun. You and I were both out there. You were covering as a story, and myself and my daughter Aria were a team. We tried to represent. We were the Rivertown Ramblers. We tried our best. You have to have a score of 21 to win a cornhole game, and Ari and I played 6 games with a combined total over 6 games of 22. So all those that played against us and were patient, I thank you for that, and I thank you for Ari being a good sport. She said, "Do you want to go play cornhole with me today?" She's like, "Sure." We get in the car. What is cornhole? And it showed in her experience. But it was a great day. It was a lot of fun.
We probably should point out Ari is, 9 years old?
Yeah, she is 9. She
Okay.
could really have pulled her weight a little bit more, though.
Yeah, okay,
9 or
yeah.
not, let's go.
Yeah, there we go, yeah. You sign up, you got to play hard. You know,
Right.
You got it out, you know.
It was there were some serious people that had their own bean bags, and it's a whole thing out there. It was very well put on by the Cornhole. Is it a Cornhole Association?
Yeah, and various groups and organizations can and have put on cornhole tournaments. I know they had one recently to raise money for Coan Park. I know the Amherstburg Firefighters Association have had their cornhole tournament out there. And yeah, this past Saturday was the Rotary Club of Amherstburg. So a fun day and a good first start for the Rotary Club in terms of getting it off the ground.
Yeah, I think to make that an annual thing and have it grow, I think would be great. So kudos to the Columbian Club out there in McGregor and the Cornhole and the Rotary and Easter Seals, all those wonderful things. And it was a great day to support a fun cause. Looking towards the weekend and the rest of the month, there's not a whole lot going on. We don't have too much. I know we'll start getting stuff for Easter in the next couple of weeks, I'm sure.
I know there's another Skate Amherstburg competition later this month. I know there's I believe a gymnastics competition coming into the Libro in a couple of weeks, so we'll be staying on top of all that. Yep.
Yeah.
We'll be staying on top of all that and getting more information out as events progress. Again, yeah, it was a busy week, and we'll stay busy this upcoming week. I know there's the Agriculture Hall of Fame on Thursday night. I'll be out covering that, and we'll have more on that next week's issue.
And we had teased it here last week that we had a big announcement today. The big announcement is the 2025 phone books are on the shelves. So they came into our office late Friday afternoon of last week, and we've been working real hard to get them out. So they'll be in newspaper boxes, apartments, major retailers. You can pick them up in our office at 80 Richmond Street. So be sure to get your copy. We're really proud of them, as always. And we thank the community for helping us to keep an up-to-date phone book, and get yours today.
Yeah, we're slowly rolling them out, so if you don't see them in a particular newspaper box just yet, don't worry. We're on top of it, and we're going to work hard to get those boxes filled as fast as we can. And but they're at our office or in a few boxes around the community as we speak, and as we just ramp up distribution. And again, thanks to our drivers, Ken and Louise, for helping us out with that. I know they do a great job with the paper every week, and they're helping us out with the phone books. And I know your daughter Kira is helping us out as well. She helped us out with the proofreading of the phone book and updates and that sort of thing. And you mentioned she's going to be out and about and helping us out, dropping them off as well.
On this wonderful day. It couldn't be a worse day to be doing that job, but that's life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's reminds me of a story from many moons ago. I went on a day like this. I think it might have been even colder. Just poured rain all day, and I was going door to door delivering. And I started my road at the corner of Texas Road. Second concession went all the way up to County Road 20, up Front Road North to basically the River Canard Bridge, to the bridge right by North Side Road there. And then that includes hitting the homes in the Edgewater Beach subdivision. So started early in the morning, ended later in the evening, and had to change coats a couple times. But
you and your horse must have been very wet and cold.
Absolutely, yeah. And I get home, and this is way back in the answering machine days, and a friend of mine left me a kind message just singing in the rain.
I'm sure that really eased the chill in your bones.
Exactly, yeah. So, but I got through it. It was one of those character building things.
That's what we'll tell Kira today.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what we'll tell her. Build up.
Yeah, it makes you stronger as life goes on. It gives you some life experience.
There you go. All right, Amherstburg, stay dry and have a great day.
Have a great day. Have a great week. See you next Wednesday at 12 noon and the replay at 4:30 p.m.